Hi, I'm Megan, and welcome to today's live reading of The Perfect Girl for Kai by Cori Cooper, presented by Itsy Bitsy Books. Itsy Bitsy Book Bits. Join me. Chapter 1, Kai's Matchmaker. I don't know anyone who had a life-changing moment in the middle of a high school cafeteria. I didn't even know that was a thing until today. I should have seen it coming though. First, the cafeteria was out of mustard packets. Then there was only skim milk. And even worse, I dropped my ice cream bar and someone stepped on it before I could pick it back up. Bruh. If I paid more attention to the signs from the universe, maybe I wouldn't get caught off guard when it really mattered. Blindsided, bushwhacked, sucker punched. I was standing over the trash can, mourning my ice cream bar and wondering if it would be worth it to get back in line for another 20 minutes to replace it when Shelby jostled my elbow. Kai, what are you doing? Quit staring at the trash can like a weirdo and come on. I need to talk to you guys. It's soups important. Yeah, because everything important has the word soups next to it. Kai, she gave me a look and headed to the corner of the cafeteria where we usually sat. Hurry up. I have something I need to say. Shelby always had something to say. Getting her to stop talking was the trick. If she told me she was taking a vow of silence, then I would have had a good reason to quit staring at the trash can like a weirdo and come on. I trudged after her, still thinking about that ice cream bar instead of paying attention to what was going on around me. Too bad for me. My survival instincts had zero time to kick in and propel me in the opposite direction. Instead, I followed Shelby to the lunch table like a knucklehead. Tucker, Lane, and Courtney were already sitting down when Shelby and I slid into seats across from them. My tray hit the table with a loud bang that made Courtney bolt upright. Her pupils were still the wrong size when she focused in on my tray. Kai, where's your ice cream? So, what if I was predictable and got the same thing for lunch every day? With a friend like Shelby, a guy's got to have one thing in his life he can count on. Dropped it. Tucker smirked. So, that's never stopped you before. Fair. The 5-second rule is real. I swear to it. Then someone stepped on it. So, Tucker asked again as he raised his eyebrows. Okay, yeah, so maybe that hadn't stopped me in the past either. Derek stepped on it with his cleats. I picked up a corn dog and pointed it at Tucker to stop him from saying the word so again. He's in PE with me, and we were on the field today. 2 words: reclaimed water. It was in a package, Tucker shrugged. I still would have eaten it. Lane and Courtney chorused Tucker's name with disgusted voices. Shelby swung her leg impatiently and jostled the table. Guys, stop acting like 2-year-olds. I have something important, totes important, to tell you. Totes and soups. Stop the presses. Tucker took a bite of his PBJ and chewed twice. I'm not acting like a 2-year-old. Then he opened his mouth wide. Shelby leaned back and folded her arms. Serious, Tucker, that wasn't even funny in elementary. Check out Kai. She placed a hand on my shoulder right after I took a huge bite of corn dog. I stopped chewing and stuck the mass onto one cheek in case Shelby was about to say something I needed to answer. He's grown up, matured. Why haven't you? Yeah, I was super mature. My cheek was the size of a baseball. I chewed fast and swallowed hard. I had to down the entire carton of skim milk to keep from choking. Shelby stared at me for a minute and then sighed as she dropped her hand to her lap. Tell you what, Tucker said, I'll make you a deal. I'll mature up when you stop dating rejects. That's the strap. He jabbed his fist toward my face. Come on, don't let me hangin'. Someone's got to say it. Not one of those boys got riz. I bumped Tucker's fist despite Shelby's gasp. He was right this time. Her taste in guys totally sucked. I wanted to yeet every single one of those guys off the top of a building. I'll take it. Shelby moved both palms to the table and leaned forward so far her chin was almost on the back of her hands. That deal. I'll take it because that's what I want to talk to my peeps about. Tucker was doing some kind of celebration dance with a few booyahs and a couple more what's, totally not listening. Shelby's bottom lip started to push out. Okay, bruh. Tucker, hey, come on. I used my outdoor voice, the one my older sister Roxy swears they can hear in China. Listen up. Shelby has something to say. Then I kicked him under the table for good measure. He glared at me, but shut his mouth. Yeah, he did. Shelby shot me a look that made the corn dog in my stomach do backflips. Thank you, Kai. Okay, friends. So here's the thing. I was sitting in biology thinking about what went wrong with Drake, and then suddenly something hit me so hard. Wait, you broke up with Drake? I couldn't help interrupting. That was big. Maybe even totes and soups big. Shelby's voice almost disappeared. Well, Axe, he broke up with me. She took a deep breath. But it's okay, because that's how I got this amaze reveal. Lane pulled a strand of gum from her mouth and wound it around her finger. I had that happen once at work when I was stalking rompers, because whoever brought rompers back deserves a life sentence in Azkaban. Really? Shelby's eyes widened. I think rompers are cute. Yeah, Lane huffed. That's because you have long legs, a flat belly, and zero jigglypuff. Everything looks cute on you. Really? You think so? Shelby's voice cracked at the end of the word. Because I've totes been eating my feelings since Drake dumped me. Like so many carbs all day. Do you really think I look okay? I feel like Jabba the Hutt. Shelby, Courtney reached for her hand. You're a flippin' supermodel. No, Shelby shook her head. I mean, look at my arm. She held it out and flicked the skin underneath. Jigglypuff, am I right? Tucker snorted into his fist while something hit me so hard. Why did I eat lunch with a bunch of girls? Why the heck didn't I sit with the football team or the baseball team or the Future Filmmakers Club? Man, I'd settle for hanging out with the janitors if it meant I didn't have to listen to conversations like this one. Lane sucked her gum back in. Everyone has that. I mean, I bet even Keira Knightley has underarm jiggle series. Courtney waved her hands at Tucker and me. Guys, come on, help us out here. Isn't Shelby gorgeous? Hot, right? Tucker cleared his throat in a choking kind of way while I studied the ceiling. There was definitely a spot up there that hadn't been around yesterday. Shelby shook her head. Totes awk. Don't answer. Plus, we're way off again. We're talking about this mind bomb I had, remember? Lane and Courtney leaned forward, attention officially glued. Tucker, on the other hand, was scrolling his phone. Shoot, why didn't I think of that? I left my phone in my locker today. So stupid. I'm stuck here with nothing to distract me. I'd bet anything that Shelby's mind bomb was about lash extensions. Again. I already sat through 2 whole lunch periods of them talking about those things, and I still didn't have a clue what they are. Also, didn't care. I looked down at my plate. There weren't enough corn dogs in this whole city to hold my attention if the girls started going off like that again. I was going to have to fake sick and spend the rest of lunch in the guys' locker room trying to finish my food surrounded by fungus. Shelby straightened her shoulders and looked around the table. You guys, Tucker is so totes right. That is a mind bomb, I muttered. It took Tucker a second, and then he slugged me in the arm. Hey, not like it hurt. But I slugged him back to make things even. Guys, come on. This is important to me, and I want my BFFs to hear it first. Shelby blinked slowly while she waited for us to undistract ourselves. I really do keep dating idiots. Tucker is right. Flex. Tucker stuck his fist in the air. Okay, now Shelby had my attention. It's about sinking time she figured that out. I mean, they seem like nice guys at first, but in the end, they all break my heart in all the same places. It's bunk. I am so done with dating. Tucker snorted. You don't believe me? Shelby fluttered her eyelashes. No. Tucker shook his head. There's no way you're done with dating, Shelby. You constantly have a boyfriend. Always. Since freshman year. I don't think there's a single dude in this school you haven't dated. Come on, right? Tucker gestured at me to back him up, but I kept quiet. I could think of at least one guy Shelby has never dated. Tucker went on. So if that's the reason you're quitting, because you're out of options, then I might believe you're done. Otherwise, there's no legit way you can go on without a guy for more than 24 hours. No. Shelby was quiet for a long time. Not sheepish quiet. If she was sheepish, she'd be fiddling with things. She wasn't angry quiet either, because if she was, she'd be glaring holes into the side of Tucker's head. She was frozen quiet. Frozen and staring. This didn't happen. This didn't happen often. Maybe one other time I could remember. I was about to check her pulse when she slowly turned to me. Is that true? Is that what you all think? You all think I'm like, I don't know, that I can't survive without a guy? The other girl started up with a chorus of, "No, you're strong, independent, and brave, and you so don't need a man to complete you." Shelby ignored them and continued to stare at me, her eyes moving all over my face like she was searching for something specific. It was kind of freaking me out, not gonna lie. This was a version of Shelby I wasn't really familiar with. I had no idea what she wanted me to say, so I didn't say anything. And apparently, that was then enough of an answer. Shelby nodded, her lower lip trembling. "So I'm like some Disney princess all stuck in a tower or something that can't do anything on her own. Like, without a guy, I'm nothing." "Hey, that's not what Tucker said," I began, but I had to stop because I wasn't sure that was the truth. Knowing Tucker, it was probably exactly what he meant. Shelby jumped on my paws. "No?" I glanced at Tucker for help, thinking like that he could explain it to her, but he was playing something on his phone again. The sound was off, so I couldn't tell what it was, but I guess it required his full, undivided attention. Because, yeah, he was oblivious. I switched tactics. "Why do you care what Tucker thinks? Nobody cares what Tucker thinks." "Hey," he said without looking up. "Okay, not totally oblivious, just a jerkwad." "Hi, you'll tell me the truth. I trust you. Is that what everyone thinks about me? The whole school, my best friends, everyone? Is that the tea?" Wasn't exactly qualified to tell her what everyone thought. I barely knew what I was thinking half the time. And I for sure couldn't tell her what people were saying. I always zoned out when people started gossiping. Shelby's pause wasn't for an answer, though. She picked right up without me saying anything. "Is this what we've come to? Do my peeps, my table of best friends, think that I'm so pathetic I always have to have a boyfriend? Is Tucker the only one with the guts to say it?" Her arms flung to the side or into the air with every word. I knew Shelby shouldn't have taken that drama class. Emoting in the wrong hands was a dangerous thing. "Come on," I scoffed, like what she said was ridiculous. "Kai?" She stared at me without blinking. Her eyes seared my soul. "You're not answering my questions." Her voice cracked on the last word, and I tried to think of something I could say that would distract her. If Shelby started crying, I was a goner. "Okay, sure, you go out with a lot of guys, but that doesn't say anything about who you are, right? It doesn't define you." Wow, yeah, that was pretty much a direct quote from one of my mom's psychology magazines. "No, no," Courtney chimed in at once. "It's Soup's norm to date a lot in high school." "Yeah, it's how you find the right kind of shoes," Blaine added. "What?" Shelby carefully patted under her eye. She didn't wear waterproof makeup because it made her itch, so she was always paranoid about getting raccoon eyes. I really shouldn't know those kinds of things. I spent way too much time surrounded by girls today. It was time to go to the guys' locker room, reclaim my manhood or something. Shelby put her hand on my arm. That pretty much made it impossible to get up and leave. So it looked like I was going to have to sit here while Lane explained that there was a shoe for every foot if only we can find it. I was something. I was seriously something. Pathetic kept coming to mind, but I didn't want to admit that was spot on. "Okay," Shelby swallowed. "Thanks, Lane. That sort of makes sense." Dang, nobody better ask me what I thought about Lane's analogy. She was my friend, so I didn't want to wreck her feelings, but that was the stupidest thing I'd ever heard. And I have two older sisters, so I know stupid. "Guys," Shelby looked up from the napkin she was folding in the shape of a heart. "This is good that this happened. Soup's good. I just had another mind bomb moment just now. A bigger one, I think." She took a deep breath and set the napkin hard aside. "I want to do more." Lane tipped her head to the side. "More? Like what?" Courtney asked. "Well," Shelby twirled a lock of hair around her finger. After a couple of seconds of that, she smiled. "Foreboding. Yeah, that's the feeling. Mom is always trying to get me and the sibs to name out our feelings. So the thing that was going on inside of me right now, it was foreboding and a half. I've just decided that I'm going to selflessly devote the rest of my days to helping others find true love, since it's not happening for me anytime soon. She turned to me and squeezed my arm. I'll be like the Mother Teresa of matchmaking. I swallowed wrong and coughed until my eyes watered. Turns out it is possible to choke on your own spit. There's something wrong with that. Shelby waited patiently while I took several long gulps from my water bottle and tried not to look at her hand. You good? She asked. I nodded slowly. Good. She clapped her hands, because you do not want to miss this moment. I just now decided my first project is going to be you. She reached over with one finger and booped my nose. Tucker raised his head and his eyebrows at the same time. I shot him a look that said he better keep it zipped or he was going to regret it. He smirked and shrugged and didn't open his mouth, but that stupid look on his face was worse than anything he could have said. What does that even mean? Lane blew a big bubble that popped all over her nose. Kai doesn't date, like, ever. Tucker opened his mouth and closed it. He was starting to get squirmy. Crap, he wasn't going to be able to keep from saying whatever stupid thing he was thinking much longer. Exactly, Shelby pointed at Lane like the girl that won the prize. He's perfect. I'll set Kai up on a bunch of dates each week, and then a couple of weeks before prom, we'll pick his dream girl from all the girls he's dated, and he can ask her in a totes romantic way. It'll be perfect timing. Or it'll be the perfect ending. Perfect prom with the perfect girl. She sighed dreamily. This is working out so amaze. Hold on. Shelby in charge of my dating? That sounded like a train wreck. Kai Obbs needs help finding true love more than the rest of you. Seriously? I'm sitting right here, I said. I know you are, silly. She reached forward a second time, and I pulled my chin inward just before she could make contact with my nose. If she booped again, I might crash out. We all know it's true, Kai. You do too. This is like an intervention. You need some help finding the perfect girl, and who's a better person to do that than me? I know everything about you. Obviously not everything. I can't go on dates with a bunch of different girls like that, I said, my mind jumping to the perfect excuse. It was in self-preservation mode, so it was pulling out all the stops. Courtney's eyes widened. He's right, Shelby. That won't work. Once he goes out with one girl, everyone will think they're together. If he goes out with someone else the next day, everyone will think he's a player. Kai's not a player. We don't want people thinking like that. Shelby waved her hand like none of it mattered. I'll just explain the circs to everyone. Yeah, she'd tell them the circumstances of how her pathetic friend Kai couldn't get a girl on his own, so he needed her to set him up on dates until she found the perfect one. Yeah, no. I opened my mouth to tell her she was crazy, because she is, except she stuck her finger over my lips. That was way worse than the booping. Don't thank me yet. There will be tons of time for that later. This is going to be so major. She finally took both her hands back and used them to punctuate whatever she was squealing to Lane and Courtney. I stopped listening to save my sanity. Dude, are you really going to do this? Tucker smirked. His eyes darted to the girls, then back to me. No way I'm doing this. Seriously? If I did, I might as well stuff my life down a garbage disposal and flip the switch. Shelby couldn't even find the perfect guy for herself. How was she going to find the perfect girl for me? It was like the blind leading the stupid, and I wasn't stupid. That's when I noticed the table was silent, and all 6 female eyes were fixed on me. What? I wiped the back of my hand over my mouth to make sure there weren't any corn dog flecks or mustard streaks, and it came back clean, so... Hi, Lane said in a warning voice. We heard that. I seriously missed something. You heard what? What you said to Tucker, Courtney answered this time. You're not going to do it? Really? Why? Yeah, Lane added. Backing out already? Totally flaky. Backing out of what? I stared at them in a complete and total awe. I knew guys and girls lived on different planets, but I thought we at least spoke the same language right until this second. I never even said I would do this dating thing. I can't back out of something I'm not doing. Yes, you did, Lane said. I shook my head, thinking back over the blur of the last 10 minutes. No way, I wasn't crazy. I never agreed to do anything. I was positive. No, I didn't. Yeah, I'm pretty sure you did, Courtney gestured to Lane. Lane thinks you did, and then to Shelby. Shelby does too. What about Tucker? I raised an eyebrow at him. He had to back me up. I knew he knew that I hadn't said I'd do this. Tucker's face went blank. Oh, crap. He kept his eyes on the girls. You know, I think you're right, girls. Kai absolutely agreed to do this. I just can't believe he's trying to back out of it now. You know, that's totally buns, dude. No. What was Buns was Tucker lying his off about what he remembered. He was so going to regret this. I would find a way to make him pay. Shelby clasped her hands under her chin. Kai, please. Her eyes said she needed me, like I was her only hope. Great. Why don't you set Tucker up on the dates? I said to stall. Lane scoffed. No one wants to go on a date with Tucker. That was deserved. Tucker glared at each of us in turn, stood with as much dignity as he could, which wasn't much, and walked away without another word. I really wanted to slap his guts, but I still wished I was walking away with him. Shelby leaned closer to me so the fruity scent of whatever perfume she wore got in my head. Kai, please, I need this. Why? I refused to move my eyes away from the table. She didn't say anything for such a long minute, the silence tricked me into looking up. Her smile was sweeter than ice cream. This is not just about me. You're the nicest guy in the world, Kai. You deserve someone to maze. I deserve something. Such a sucker. Because the truth was, she did need this. Setting me up on dates was more about Shelby's brain bomb and semi-identity crisis than it was about what I did or didn't deserve. I can find you the perfect girl, Kai. Shelby clasped her hands and patted her stupid long eyelashes at me. I want to do that for you. You're like my best guy friend. Please, Kai, say yes, please. I should never have looked at her. It would have been way easier to shoot down Shelby with my eyes on the tabletop. When she looked at me like that, like all her hopes and dreams rested on my shoulders, I mean, what was I supposed to say? All right, I'll do it.